The Whistling Trail. When the search party found Daniel's backpack, it was hanging from the branch of a pine tree nearly 20 feet above the ground. The zipper was open. Inside were his wallet, phone, food, and map. Everything a lost hiker would need had been carefully left behind. Daniel himself was never found. Daniel had chosen the Black Ridge Trail because it was easy. 5 miles in, 5 miles out. The weather was clear, and he had hiked dozens of trails before. At 11:42 a.m., he texted his sister a photo of a waterfall, almost at the summit, back before dinner. That was the last message anyone received. When he failed to return that evening, rangers began searching the mountain. The first clue appeared the next morning, a single boot print, then another, then another. The prints wandered in circles through the forest for nearly 2 miles before stopping abruptly in the middle of a clearing. No footprints led away. It was as if Daniel had simply vanished. On the third day, Ranger Olivia Hayes joined the search. She had worked in the mountains for 15 years. People got lost. People panicked. People made irrational decisions. There was always an explanation, until she reached the clearing. The trees were silent. No birds, no insects. Even the wind seemed unwilling to enter. In the center lay a smooth ring of stones surrounding bare earth. No one remembered seeing it before. One of the volunteers frowned. "I don't like this place." Olivia nodded. Neither did she. Then they heard it. A whistle. 3 soft notes drifting through the trees. A cheerful tune. Too cheerful. One volunteer smiled. "Someone's calling for help." He walked toward the sound. Olivia grabbed his arm. "Wait!" The whistle came again. Closer this time. Except, it wasn't getting louder. It sounded exactly the same, as though it were being played directly beside each of them. The volunteer's smile faded. "Where is it coming from?" No one could answer. That night the search team camped nearby. At 2 a.m., Olivia woke to someone whistling outside her tent. The same 3 notes. Slow, patient. She reached for her flashlight. The whistling stopped. The beam swept across empty trees. Then she noticed footprints in the dirt. Bare feet. Hundreds of them. They circled every tent. None led into the woods. None led away. By sunrise, they had disappeared. The next afternoon, they found Daniel's camera. The battery was dead, but the memory card survived. Back at headquarters, Olivia reviewed the photos. The first 100 showed ordinary hiking scenes. Trees, streams, wildflowers. Then the pictures changed. Daniel had begun photographing the same section of trail over and over. Each image looked nearly identical, except for one detail. A figure, far in the background, too distant to recognize. In every photo, it stood a little closer. Watching. By the final picture, it was only 30 feet away. It was impossibly tall. Its arms hung below its knees. Its face was hidden behind strips of long, dark hair. The timestamp read 12:17 p.m. Daniel's final photo was taken only 35 minutes after he'd texted his sister. Olivia returned to the trail alone. She didn't tell anyone. She wanted one last look before the search was called off. Clouds swallowed the afternoon sun as she entered the clearing. The ring of stones was gone. So were the footprints. Only silence remained. She turned to leave. A whistle floated through the trees. 3 notes. She ignored it and kept walking. The whistle came again. Closer. Then she heard another sound. Her own voice. "Olivia." She stopped. It came from somewhere behind her. "Olivia, help me." It sounded exactly like her. Every breath, every tremble, as though someone had stolen her voice. She turned slowly. Nothing. Only endless trees. Then her radio crackled. "Dispatch." "Olivia, do you copy?" She grabbed it. "Go ahead." Static. Then dispatch answered, using her own voice. "Olivia." The radio fell from her hand. Something moved between the trees. Not walking, watching. Its head tilted unnaturally far to one side. Long strands of black hair hid its face. It whistled. 3 notes. Then it spoke. Almost back before dinner. Daniel's last text, word for word. It had heard him, remembered him, copied him. Olivia ran. Branches tore at her jacket as she raced down the trail. Behind her came footsteps that never grew closer and never fell farther behind. Every few seconds it repeated another voice, a child crying, an old man laughing, a woman screaming, dozens of voices, all perfectly human, none belonging in those woods. She burst into the parking lot just before sunset. The footsteps stopped at the tree line. The forest stood still, watching. Olivia resigned 2 weeks later. She never returned to Black Ridge. The trail was eventually closed after several more disappearances. Officials blamed unstable terrain. Locals knew better. They warned visitors never to answer a whistle in the woods, especially one that sounded friendly. Years later, a hunter ignored the warning. He heard someone calling his name deep in the trees. Relieved, he followed the voice, believing it was another hunter. He was never seen again. His rifle was found leaning against a pine tree. His backpack hung 20 feet above the ground. The zipper was open. Inside was a note written in shaky handwriting. It contained only one sentence. If you hear yourself calling from the forest, keep walking.